So, who needs the Sunday night game more, the Eagles or the Cowboys? Is there any chance that the Buffalo Bills could regain first place in the AFC East? And which six of our teams in our league are going to make the playoffs after this week? Well, we're going to try to find the answers to those questions and many more as we get you ready for week 14. It's Fantasy Football Fever, and it's starting right now. Hello, one and all. Welcome to another edition of Fantasy Football Fever. It is Tuesday night, December 5th, 2023. Wherever you're watching, however you're watching, whenever you're watching, thanks for making this part of your week. Of course, I'm Tim McClellan, joined as always by our league commissioner, John Natale, and of course, the host of Hooked on Sports, riding once again on the subway somewhere in New York, Mr. John Flynn. How y'all doing?
Yeah, doing well.
Hello, everybody. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Hey, doing pretty good. And all I got to say is, for one thing, great, tough win for the Cowboys against the Seahawks. But most importantly, thank you, 49ers, for beating those chickens. Oh, my gosh. I think I was more happier for the 49ers beating those chickens than I was with the Cowboys beating the Seahawks. That kind of shakes things up atop the NFC right there, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this is a very big week for us, and I'm sure it's a big week for a lot of you fantasy players out there, because for many of you, this is the final week of your regular season before you start going into your fantasy league playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Playoffs are just around the corner here, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at our action from last week here. Let's go ahead and see if I can get the correct screen going up there. And let's have everyone follow along. And we're going to start with our matchup here. Our matchup with myself and Natali. I was able to get the win over Natali by a score of 158.42 to 145.3.
So, and with that, you clinched your division, and you get a first round bye.
Nah, I'll wait till after the show to do my happy dance. So, got big points from Jalen Hurts back in prime form. Got 21-3 from Isaiah Pacheco. I got 19-4 from AJ Brown. Big 29 points from Sam Laporta. I'm telling you, this guy is just improving by leaps and bounds. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
And I got 12.1 points from Raheem Mostert. I was able to get 12 points from the Tampa Bay defense and special teams. Got 14 points from Matt Gay. I didn't think Christian Watson was going to have that bad of a week, so I put him on the bench, but he ended up leaving me 27.6 points on the table. Uh-oh. And other than that, Jordan Love with 29.6. Actually, Jordan Love, looking back now, Love outproduced Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and how about the way Jordan Love looked? That he made every single throw. That he was able to keep Kansas City's defense off balance, and they neutralized where the concept Steve Spagnuolo was trying to import on the team. But now you got to start looking at Christian Watson. You got to start looking at Jordan Love as guys that when you look at their schedule, they got the Giants next Monday night. They've got Tampa, and then they have then of course they have Minnesota and Chicago for Week 17. That will be a big game for fantasy championship. So that might be a favorable matchup. So you got to start looking at Jordan Love and Christian Watson as guys who are going to deliver and produce it and help owners to get to the finals or even win championships this year.
Yeah, right when I drop him, he gets hot. That just happens to me every time.
Meanwhile, for Natali, he only got 13.8 points from Kyler Murray, but he did get 22.3 from Christian McCaffrey. Got a huge 35.8 points from Deebo Samuel. Got 14-2 from Jerome Ford. Got 14 even from Bobby Wagner. 18 points from the Dolphins defense and special teams. And 9 points from Riley Patterson.
Yeah, just think if Tally had Christian Watson over Calvin Ridley.
Oh wow. A lot of his players were on the bye last week. The only one to leave points on the table was DeAndre Hopkins with 18.9. So with that, I go to 8-5 and I clinch the division, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you do.
I will get the first round bye. Meanwhile, the tally was second in the Butthead division, also with a record of 8-5. So I guess I'm improving again. All right, let's go to this one right here. Andrew against Alex. Yeah, Andrew's making a push once again like he did last year. This week, he took down Alex by a score of 112.8 to 97.36. Looking at his starters, Andrew got 23-2 to Tagovailoa, 15-6 from Brandon Ayuk. Terry McLaurin, unfortunately, was unavailable to give any points. Trey McBride,
he was not. Terry McLaurin was not targeted once in the Washington game where he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
Not even targeted once. I guess we got to put out an 8. Trey McBride at 22.9. Chris Olave got him a 16.9. Meanwhile, on the bench, 20.2 from Kyron Williams, who is really becoming a very solid running back in the NFC. And what was that stat you mentioned for Kyron Williams, Sir Flynn, before we went on the air about Kyron Williams?
It's
second.
Yeah. So Christian McCaffrey has the highest projected point total of any running back this week. Kyron Williams is number 2.
Very, very interesting there. And Chuba Hubbard for the Carolina Panthers left 22.4 points on the table for Adam. Meanwhile, looking at Alex's matchups, he had 18.06 from C.J. Stroud, 17.3 from Tony Pollard, 10.2 from Jalen Waddle, Keenan Allen at 10.8. Unfortunately, no points from Dalton Schultz, the tight end for Houston, and 19.6 from Rashad White. 10 points from his Dolphins kicker, Jason Sanders. Meanwhile, as far as bench points are concerned, he could have gotten 22.68 points from Minshew Mania right there. And I got something good to say about Minshew later on in the show. And for Ezekiel Elliott, 13.2 points there. So with that matchup, Georgia Crushers, Andrew St. Clair is 6-7 now, 5th place in the Butthead division. And Alex is 4-9, fourth place in the Vivas division. And of course, Flynn's just, I guess he just got off his bus, so he's making his way to his house. So he'll be up. He'll be back on shortly. So y'all don't worry. Lucas against Adam. Lucas took down Adam by a score of 158.84 to 133.46. Looking at Lucas's numbers, got 20.32 from Jared Goff, 22.5 from James Conner, 37.4 points for DK Metcalf, who of course went off against the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And, let's get Flynn back in here. Yeah, 37.4, a huge night in fantasy points for DK Metcalf, even though the Seahawks lost to the Cowboys that game. Tank Dell did not get a single point. Jamar Chase for Cincinnati, how about this? 31.62 points. And speaking of the Bengals, have a message from our good friend Dashy. My Bengals did upset the Jaguars last night. Colts have not beaten the Bengals in Cincinnati since 2005. Wow. That is a very, very interesting statistic. And that one quarterback that came in was he definitely impressed me. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
Jamar Chase, 31.62. 22 points from the Falcons defense special teams. And as far as Lucas's bench points, 23.9 points on the table from Puka Nacua and 13.3 points from Deontay Johnson. Meanwhile, for Adam Oliver, he did get 34.26 points from Dak Prescott, 29.7 Joe Mixon. Looking down, Taysom Hill at 16.4. Brandon Aubrey, still perfect on his field goals this year, 15 points. And
All right, I guess I'll fill in for a little bit while Tim steps away. Let's see here. Following up from Adam, the downside was Ramondre Stevenson. He was doubtful while.
okay. Let's bring
Don't
it
worry.
back.
I was just about to do some talking, but you came in, so we're all good.
Yeah, somehow he lost connection once again. So let's we'll bring the screen back up again.
Yeah, you left off on Adams.
Yeah, we were taking a look at Adams' point totals here. If this thing will cooperate, there we go. No. We already talked about that. We're talking about Adam. We already take a look at that. Adam had 32.46 from Prescott, Mixon 29.7.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Anyways, so I'm here. So I'm actually gonna pull up the numbers on my phone here because.
Okay, you got enough power to do that?
Yeah, I have enough power. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
It's okay. So we were doing. So it was Adam's matchup against Lucas. So.
Mm-hmm.
So Lucas 20.32 from Jared Goff, James Conner. How about that? The Cardinals upset the Steelers in Pittsburgh, 22.5 points because he had 105 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. He got 37.4 points from my guy DK Metcalf. I have him in my other league. 3 touchdown receptions. He also got 31.6 points from Jamar Chase. How about Jamar Chase? The way the Bengals were able to beat the Jaguars last night.
Ooh.
That was a heck of a ball game. And then the Falcons defense. I mean, that was such an easy start. I mean, it was the easiest start and sit and pick of mine of the season. 22 points. They had 2 fumble recoveries, an interception, 6 points allowed. They allowed just 5 points on defense. Also 4 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. It was just a tremendous performance, and one that I'm not surprised at.
Oh yeah.
And then, looks like Tim's back.
Nope. Never mind.
All right, so yes, we'll continue on here. So, and then as for Adam, so he Ramondre Stevenson got hurt. So Landon Roberts from Pittsburgh got hurt early in those games, so that was a real detriment to his performance. But he did get 29.7 points from Joe Mixon, and he got 34.26 points from Dak, and 15 points from Brandon Aubrey, as Tim mentioned before. He got booted off the server. So that was that matchup over there. I know Tim isn't here, so we can see the matchup between me and David, but I wound up clinching the number 1 seed in our league. I defeated David by a score of 174.12 to 81.8. I got 29 points out of Trevor Lawrence, who did get hurt, but thank God I have Russell Wilson going up against the Chargers this week, so I'm thankful for that. Travis Etienne, 17.9 points. So Tyler Algier, I mean, I really didn't have a backup running back, but I knew I was going to skate by this week without it anyway. Tyler Algier only had 26 rushing yards and no receptions. Tyreek Hill, 32.3 fantasy points. He had 157 yards receiving and 2 receiving touchdowns. Michael Pittman Jr., 11 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown for the Indianapolis Colts. Devontae Smith, I have him in both of my leagues, 24.6 points, because all 3 of my wide receivers this week got over 24 points. And Ernest Jones, who I picked up in the waiver wire because Bobby Okereke of the Giants was off this week, he gave me 15 points with 15 tackles. And then Evan McPherson gave me 12 points, including the game-winning field goal in overtime on Monday night. So, but as for David, didn't make the changes he needed to make. Sean Watson, Aaron Jones were both out. But he did get CeeDee Lamb and Evan Ingram. CeeDee Lamb, 32.6 points. Evan Ingram, 23.2 points. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 12.9 points. So in terms of the bench, Alvin Kamara, 28.9 points for David. I left Russell Wilson, 17.84. Sam Howell, 19.18, and Jake Ferguson, 19.7. So which would have been more than Travis Kelce, who I started, who gave me a total of 12.1. And then the last matchup of the day, we got from last week that we'll discuss. We got Dino taking down Casey by his final score of 150.48 to 87.26. and then looking at the score, or looking at the scores, we got Justin Herbert only got 7.98 points. Derrick Henry 25 points, although he did. There was talk earlier in the week about him being in concussion protocol, but Mike Vrabel said he is no longer in concussion protocol, and it looks like he's going to be good to go for the Monday Nighter in Miami next week. Mike Evans 30.2 points. Nico Collins is stepping up after Tank Dell got hurt in the Houston game. Nine catches, 191 yards, and a touchdown. Whoa, that was some type of performance right there by the Houston standout. Alex Singleton 14 points. So, but Casey didn't make the changes he needed to make, which is a shame because he got 37.46 points out of Brock Purdy, and then the rest of his team underperformed. And taking a look at the bench here, we have that Beavis left Cooper Kupp, and it's 15.9 points off the bench, and Casey chose to leave Geno Smith on the bench, even though he scored 36 points. That did prove to be the correct decision, though, because Brock Purdy scored 1.4 points more than he did. So those were the Week 13 matchups, Tim.
Yep, that's all right. Let's take a look at the overall standings right now. We are going to, that Y and Z. I've clinched the division. I've clinched a round bye. Sadly, in the Beavis division, Alex and David, unfortunately, they got the E beside their names, just means they are officially eliminated from playoff contention. Well, yeah, it's kind of a rough season for those guys, but hopefully they'll be back with us, back playing along with us next year. Of course, but of course they'll be in the consolation bracket for our playoffs, which will start the week after this coming week. We got Flynn, who's gotten Flynn has clinched the number 1 seed overall. If I'm not second week in a row, second year in a row, right?
I actually think it's the third year in a row, actually.
Third year in a row. Well,
yeah, and the first year I lost in the first round because we had the 18 playoff. And then last year I lost in the championship round because all the Bills-Bengals stats were thrown out because of the DeMar Hamlin situation. But Andrew was the rightful winner in my mind. So. And the one thing I was thinking when you read all the stats about Andrew's matchup, he's going to find a way to get into the playoffs and make a deep run again, isn't he?
Well, looks like he could. I mean, he's
I don't know. He's got to win first.
I know if he gets in, I wouldn't want to face him in 2 weeks. I wouldn't.
So right now in the playoffs,
only this time his path is a lot harder this time around.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think
two other teams lose.
Yeah, and the way his team has been playing though, the players on his team though have been performing. It's going to be very tough to handle. So,
yeah.
So I think
he held on to Zach Moss. That was a good move.
Yeah. Zach. I mean, Zach. I told you he was my stardom this last week. And he made it look easy against the Titans.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Wait. Oh yeah. I think the three of us are going to be on his podcast tomorrow night. If because I know I am. I know Tim, you are because that's one of the co-hosts.
I
I'll be free to attend. Hey,
thought we were talking
Alex.
about maybe the first week of the playoffs, which would actually be next Wednesday night. But yeah, we can discuss something with him. He was thinking about getting all three of us on the Horseman show on Wednesday night. So yeah. Fizzle, sorry about your team this year, bro. Kind of had a rough season, but we want you back.
Next year. So the Friday before Labor Day, hopefully next year.
Yeah, let's try this again. I don't know why I'm having these problems here.
Yeah,
Keep
but
getting
don't worry.
kicked off.
I'm gonna be home. I'm gonna be home and set up with my laptop in about 5 minutes, and my battery's looking pretty good, so I'll make it the rest of the way with no battery issues.
Excellent. So right now, we got Flynn
I'm gonna
at number
switch to my
one.
phone. It's
I'm
getting a
number
little
two.
choppy over here.
Okay. Tally at 3. We're right now the only ones that have clinched playoff spots. Pizzle and David are out. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're going to be battling it out, and we'll get our playoff teams next week. Actually, I'm taking a look at these. Did I get cut off again? No. I'm good. Okay. Let's kind of make this stage here. All right, he's better. Yeah, I was just checking out that Flynn has actually had a 5-game winning streak. I was just taking a look at that while we were going through the overall standings here.
Yeah, my only two losses were to Andrew in the championship rematch in week 2, and then losing to the Tally in week 8, despite scoring the second most points in the league that week, and losing despite of that because the Tally. So who happened to be to score the most points that week was the.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I have no idea what's going on. I usually don't have this problem when I'm using my browser on my Xbox One. It's usually when I'm on my laptop when I'm having problems. And Flynn's going to be coming in. He'll be jumping on his laptop a little bit. And we'll kind of preview our final week for our fantasy league. We have a fantasy question here from Chandler Constantino. Start Brock Purdy or Josh Allen? A league where you get 6 points for a passing touchdown. Purdy or Allen? I'm leaning toward Purdy.
Yeah, I agree with you based on this matchup because the 49ers are playing the Seahawks. They also have their home field. I mean, the Seahawks defense hasn't been particularly good. And I see both of these games as a high-scoring game, but which team is probably going to end up with more points? I think that's going to be the 49ers. When you compare the two defenses with the Seahawks and the Chiefs have the better defense right now. So with that, I would lean towards the 49ers and Brock Purdy.
I'm pretty sure that if Flynn was here, he'd probably agree with us. So, yeah, we're leaning toward Purdy. So keep that in mind there, buddy. I hope you make your playoffs. If you're in contention, I hope you make your playoffs. So let's go ahead and we'll try this again. Flynn will be back in just shortly. All we gotta do now is just go to this week's match.
All right, I guess while we wait for Tim, we'll start previewing our matchups. First matchup we will preview is Tim's matchup. He is Loneview Lone Stars. He's going to be playing Captain Rocket. Right now, Tim is projected at a score of 133, while Captain Rocket has a 106.8 advantage. Let's see here. Looking at the lineups here, where Tim's got Jalen Hurts, Isaiah Pacheco. Let's see. Never mind. Never mind, guys. Folks, Tim's back, and I guess he'll continue from right where I just started. Yeah, Tim, I was previewing your matchup first. You and Dennis.
Yep. I guess I'm just gonna have to go and just read it off here. Where's my I'm just gonna have to just go here on my laptop and just enter the information here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flynn will be back, and when he comes back, I'm gonna give all the controls to him.
Okay.
So yeah. So
yeah. Not seeing the point projection for each player on here. I'm only seeing the it keeps going to another thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's up with these bad communications I'm having. Why I'm getting kicked off so much.
Okay, there we go. I know what I did wrong. There we go.
And my laptop is okay. Let me okay. I need to go to scoreboard. Yeah, lots of connection problems here. So I'm at 133.0 and David's at 106, if I'm not mistaken. Did I read that?
106.8.
106.8. And pretty much all the check marks are in my position here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looks like his only real good players are CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Meanwhile, I've pretty much got a good roster here. Let's see my bench players. Dallas Goedert, 10-7, but Sam Laporta is still my go-to guy right now. Even though as great as Dallas Goedert is as a tight end, Sam Laporta is a beast.
Oh yeah.
I gotta tell you. And let's see, Flynn. So Flynn, is he not quite? Oh, there he is.
Here we go.
He said, "Oh my God, Flynn, please do me a favor and take over the controls, at least for the screen share."
All right, I am just doing that right now. So
we're going over this week's matchups in our fantasy league.
All
Final week before our playoffs start.
Yeah, we just previewed Tim's and David's. I think we basically just finished that.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. So it's gonna take me a couple minutes to get things situated. So I think while we could get to the hot topics while I get the rest of these set up. So
Sure.
what big news in the NFL last night, guys, is that Trevor Lawrence high ankle sprain. How much is this going to impact the 1 seed, guys? You guys talk it out.
Oh yeah. And I think the only thing about this now is this is probably the worst point in the season where it could possibly happen. He's going to miss multiple weeks, probably minimum of 2. I don't think they're in any danger of necessarily losing out on the division, but they are, I think, in danger of losing ground as far as seeding purposes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree tremendously. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they won't have any trouble holding their top spot in the division, but it's going to be kind of a rocky road from now to the end of the season.
Yeah, most especially with the with what they have, because they're home again. They're on the road in Cleveland, and then they're home against Baltimore in 2 weeks. So that's going to be a rocky road ahead for CJ Beathard and company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and on top of that, I just realized something. We forgot to mention this. Christian Kirk could miss time too.
Oh yeah, and that
Yes.
too.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Christian Kirk is certainly missing time. That's the given. He's probably going to miss more time than Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, a high ankle sprain's usually 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, Kirk needs surgery, so he's out even longer.
Yeah, because I think that's the big thing we haven't really talked about with this, because listen, if Trevor Lawrence was healthy, Jacksonville had the opportunity to get past the Bengals, and they were both into the 1 seed in the AFC. And now you're looking at that. Not only do you have Jacksonville at 8-4, where Jacksonville's a game behind Miami, a game behind Baltimore, but also you got to look at Jacksonville in terms of fending off the Colts and the Texans in terms of winning the division, because now Jacksonville is 8-4, the Colts are 7-5, the Texans are 7-5. And Shane Steichen and D'Amico Ryan, 2 rookie head coaches, are very much in the conversation for Coach of the Year.
That could be interesting here. And there's another hot topic I was want to talk about. After visiting with the Dallas Cowboys and then the Philadelphia Eagles, it looks like Shaquille Leonard's made his decision.
Yeah, that's a big boost to their defense.
Yeah, he decided to sign with the Chickens. And of course, on the heels of this big, epic matchup on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of thinking the Cowboys needed him more than the Eagles did.
I tend to agree with you there, because you have because I think that, because when I looked at the Dallas defense at the start of the season, I said the biggest but with that defense was the linebacker position, because you have Micah Parsons playing so much up in the front, and his ability to get after the quarterback, which is more valuable for the Cowboys than him, but which leaves the linebacker position as some type of an issue there.
Yeah, that definitely gives me cause to pause, especially with thing Leighton Vander Esch is out. I think he's still out for the season.
Yeah, I think Vander Esch being out has been a problem.
Been a slight problem with the Cowboys, but not too much, because there's a lot of great players on that team that's kind of been filling the gaps in there. So, but of course, we could use another linebacker, and well, Jerry just let another one slip away.
Yeah. I mean, But I mean, it also helps when you have an offense playing at an exceptionally high level like you have with the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, it definitely helps that out a lot. What other? I was trying to remember what other
That's a hot
topics
right.
we mentioned here.
You just want to talk about the 49ers lopsided victory?
Philly.
Oh, yes. Thank you, San Francisco. I really don't like the 49ers that much, but I do want to thank them for tearing the hell out of those chickens. Oh my God. I mentioned to these guys before the show, before we went on the air, I told these guys that I think I was happier for the 49ers beating the chickens more than I was for my Cowboys beating the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a beautiful thing. Oh my God. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, they ran over those chickens. They made them chicken soup. Oh
yeah, and also because of that, now the Vegas front runner for league MVP is Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, which is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, and people always they're still talking that Dak Prescott's in the MVP mix. So who could happen? I mean, we got our matchups coming up later on. And of course, one of them is, of course, the big match between the Eagles and the Cowboys. So we'll be talking about that very soon here. So
Hold on. I believe I have all right, we can go back to that. All right, now we can go back to represent to seeing our matchups for the weekend.
all right.
So you go, Tim.
Okay, here we go. Looks like Flynn will be going up against Putnam. This game is basically I don't want to say it's a throwaway since Flynn's got a playoff spot and Alex is out of playoff contention. 148.8 projected total for Flynn, 133.8 for Putnam. We got CJ Stroud, Tony Pollard, Rashad White, Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams on Pizzle's side. While on Flynn's side, on the starters, standouts include Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Ernest Jones, and the Browns defense special teams to look like they'll be standing out on that roster there.
Yeah, and then and not that it matters for this matchup, but here's some of the other some of the others
the bench players, Jameer Gibbs, Alexander Madison, Zeke Elliott, and Gardner Minshew. Like I've said, I've got some things to say about them later on.
Because actually, in my other league, I've made a waiver claim for Gardner Minshew as a backup quarterback replacement. It's because even though Will Levis was okay last week, he's just not cutting it for me. In the event I need if I need the injury replacement for Tua Tagovailoa, in my other league.
Right. Yeah, it looks like some good standouts on his side would be. Okay, you got Russell. Tyreek Hill, of course, he's pretty much a good points machine right there. Kelsey, Jones, Browns. Getting some good points projected. Tyreek Hill projected at 23.6, when he averages about 26.3, which is not
Which,
too shabby.
which is like unbelievable the way he's been playing this year.
Unbelievable. And he is, of course, the number 1 ranked wide receiver in fantasy. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting so that you're gonna be looking at Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, and CeeDee Lamb as your fantasy MVPs through the course of the regular season.
yep. And of course, now Trevor Lawrence, of course, will not be active for a little while.
Yeah.
Jake Ferguson has really come on to be a great tight end for the Cowboys.
Yes, I mean, so I have a really fun flex options kind up here. Devontae Smith or Jake Ferguson for the foreseeable future. So
that's how that matchup looks over there.
all right, so now we come to and now we come to the meat of our fantasy matchups because the next 3 matchups you're going to see, they all have big playoff implications, starting with the one, Tim, between you, John Natale, and Casey.
Mm-hmm.
So
right now,
so you.
Yeah, right now, 147.2 for Natale, 136.5 for Casey. Looks like pretty interesting matchup right there. Looking at the starters here, McCaffrey, Robinson, Samuel, Hockenson, Flowers leading the way for Natale's starters. Meanwhile, Casey has Brock Purdy, Stephon Diggs, Olokun, Packers defense special teams, and Tyler Bass. Looking, see who's on. Let's see who's on their benches. 2 on the benches. Calvin Ridley, Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford has been a good player for Cleveland right there. Let's see, Harris, Cooper, Walker, all questionable in their respective matchups this week.
Yeah. Yes. So he's got Brock Purdy and Geno Smith as the big matchup. He has to choose between the Packers defense going up against Tommy DeVito and the Giants, and then the Patriots defense going up against Mitch Trubisky, and both are excellent matchups. But I could see why he's starting the Packers defense. Olokun has been the number 1 defensive player in fantasy football under our rules with the tackling and all that stuff. So you factor that in. DeAndre Swift, though, I'm going to get to DeAndre Swift in a little bit and about his matchup of a matchup against Dallas. But it's a solid team all the way around, and he could very much make a run if he makes the playoffs.
Interesting right there. So that's one very important matchup right there. Next one, sir.
So this is basically an elimination match. So between Lucas and Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew. Once again, Andrew is a dangerous player.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Right now, he's got 1340 to 94.1 for Lucas. And by the way, 94.1 just happens to be one of my favorite local radio stations here. They play nothing but 70s and 80s. I love it.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, take a look at their starting lineups. Looks like got Josh Allen, Zach Moss, Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Pitts, 49ers defense special teams, of course, will be good. They'll be good in their matchup against Seahawks. Meanwhile, on the other side for Lucas, got Javonte Williams, DK Metcalf, Jamar Chase, Zaire Franklin, and Jake Elliott.
Yeah, but he's gonna have to make some adjustments. He does have players coming back. Like he's got Lamar Jackson coming back from the bye. He's got Josh Jacobs coming back from the bye. Yeah, but he's gonna have to pick up a tight end from the waiver wire because because he has nothing left. And he's also got to replace Tank Dell, but he's got Deontay Johnson as a possibility. Although, so and then Andrew has Tua as a backup. He's got Kyrie Williams, maybe to get him back in.
Yeah, If I was Andrew, I would put in Tua.
And Kyrie Williams over Jalen Warren.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, but he's got Scary Terry on bye. He's got Trey McBride on a bye. And then Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard's actually been kind of a quiet surprise for fantasy players with the fantasy with Carolina Panthers right there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Sorry guys, I got to use the restroom. Flynn, if you would take over for me, I shall return.
Okay, and so so we will do that, and then we have one more matchup for you, and that is the one between Adam Oliver and Dino. So Adam is right now projected at 126.2, while Dino is projected at 129.8. So to crunch the numbers a little bit, he's got Dak Prescott at 29.2. 4 projected points going up against Philadelphia on Sunday night, and I don't think that's really a surprise. Joe Mixon coming off a great performance against Jacksonville. He's projected at 15.2 points and is back in the top 7 in terms of overall fantasy this year. He's going to have to make a switch with Ramondre Stevenson, and he's going to have to do that with the waiver wire, which I assume that he has put a waiver claim in for that already. He's got Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Taysom Hill as a tight end, Tyler Lockett going up against Seattle for Seattle against San Francisco. TJ Edwards has been the number 2 fantasy player under our rules this year. He's been a monster making all these tackles. He's got the number 1 defense in fantasy football, the Cowboys, going up against the Eagles. So that's not gonna be an easy matchup for the Cowboys whatsoever, with the way Jalen Hurts has been playing lately, and then of course he's got Brandon Aubrey at 8.8. Meanwhile for Dino, he's looking at a projection of 22.2 from Justin Herbert. He's looking 13.5 from Derrick Henry. As far as I know, it looks like he's going to be good to go. AJ Dillon at 7.6. Mike Evans 15.9. Nico Collins 15.5. Maybe I think that number should be higher for Nico Collins because I guess Tank Dell is out, and but the flip side is he's going up against the Jets, and he's probably going to be paired up with Sauce Gardner. So we'll get into which Houston player is one of my sits of the week coming up in a little bit. George Kittle 12.9 projection. Cooper Kupp 12.7 projection. Alex Singleton 10.4. The Baltimore Ravens defense at 10.4 going up against the Rams, and then Justin Tucker is his kicker, who is projected to 8.6, which is the same as his average. And then Dino has 3 open spots on his roster that he can claim, but he's got Adam Thielen as a potential flex. Zach Charbonnet, he did score a touchdown last week, but still, we don't know what the status is going to be with Kenneth Walker, so that'll need to be seen in practice. But I'll have more tabs on that tomorrow night on the Four Horsemen of Pick'em's podcast. David Njoku, of course, is a viable backup tight end option for him with the Cleveland Browns. So those are our matchups for week number 14 of in fantasy football fever, everybody. So
Yes. So now we take a look at the playoff
going
picture.
to do Oh yeah, let's take a look at that, the projected playoff bracket. Thank you for reminding me, John, the tally. Um, let's see if we can pull that up.
Yeah, we got to see this because we have so many scenarios.
Oh boy, yes, we do. So. I mean, so if the season were ended this week, we would have I'd be the one. I'm already the 1 seed. That's a given. Tim's the 2 seed. That's a given. And then 3, 4, 5, then 3 through 8 is seriously in the unknown here. Yes, I mean, but we know if the tally, if you beat Adam, you're going to be the number 3 seed.
Yes.
So that's a given, and then so then we got Dino at number 4, as who would be going up against Lucas in this scenario, and then Adam is the 6th seed at 6 and 7, and then Andrew is right now number 8 at 6 and 7, and Casey would be number 7 seed. All those teams at 6 and 7.
Yeah, depending on all these crazy tiebreakers, Adam is statistically the best 6 and 7 right now. Oh no, never mind, Lucas.
Yes,
sorry.
Yes, so it actually might be best though if we crunch the numbers on here with this with this schedule because now you can see who's going up against who here in week 14. Let's I think I need to pull this out a little bit more so that there we go. So let's see if Dino wins, he's in no matter what because he has like a 99% chance to make the playoffs, but we know he's in if he wins.
Yep.
Yeah. And then
same for Lucas, I believe.
Yeah, if it's a Lucas has Andrew, so if he wins, he's in.
And I think I said earlier, Andrew needs a win and needs a loss by Casey and a loss by Dino.
Yeah, so because Andrew's right now the number 8 seed in the conference in our league.
Yeah, that's the case. Yeah, Andrew would leapfrog over both of them. Because Andrew already has a tiebreaker over Dino.
Yeah, and then if Casey win, does Casey need any help if he wins?
Yeah, I believe he is going to need some help. I'm not too sure.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does need help. But Adam, if Adam wins, he's in.
Possibly.
Yeah, because he currently is the number 6 seed.
Yeah.
In our league. So
that would make sense. Yeah.
Yes. So basically, just Casey and Andrew need help. If they win, or
yes.
But if they lose, they're done.
Yeah.
It's about. But I think also if Lucas loses, I think he should be done.
I don't think he's eliminated with a loss necessarily. Just think depends on who else loses.
Yeah, but so we have a lot of things going on the table right now. So Tim, are you ready for your tough trivia? If you have one.
Yes, I am, sir. Actually, I couldn't really come up with a good question as far as NFL is concerned. But now that the calendar has gone to December now, we got college bowl games coming up. Would you believe there's like 42 bowl games this year?
Yeah.
42 bowl games.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean-
Speaking of that, so there's been a lot of conversation about the college football playoff and who is in and who is left out. So I need your takes on this, Tim, because you obviously one of your teams, one of the teams in is your team, the Texas Longhorns.
I am extremely happy that the Longhorns is able to get in. They beat Alabama earlier in the year. They were able to take down Oklahoma State for the Big 12 championship. Of course, their only loss the year was against Oklahoma. But of course, the big issue, of course, is Florida State going undefeated 13-0 and still getting snubbed. I mean, I've said this for the last few years now. Basically, what the college football playoff is, it's basically bowl championship series version 2.0. Of course, we all remember how that went. So, but of course, we hear next year that the college football playoff will be expanding from 4 teams to 12 teams.
And this year would have been the perfect year for 12 teams. So that's because you had 7 or 8 teams that could have won a championship this year with the way they've been playing, and 4 of them were left out.
All right, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and look, it sucks that Florida State is an undefeated Power 5 conference champion, and they were left out, but. The problem was that they flunked the eye test, so which is really what the 4-team playoff was all about. So because the eye test and style points mattered, strength of schedule mattered. I mean, the strength of schedule for Alabama was number 5 because in the SEC because they beat Ole Miss, they beat A&M, they beat Tennessee. Then, of course, they beat the number 1 team in the country in the SEC championship game. So Alabama clearly passed the eye test, and then Florida State was simply a different team without Jordan Travis.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just terrible that Florida State got snubbed out. But it probably would have meant that if they added Florida State, Texas might have been knocked out with that 1 loss. But it's just a crazy situation how they rank the teams and all the different things that go into it. Oh, we got a trivia. We got not a trivia question, but a fantasy question. Trade Kincaid and Waddle or Kincaid and Sutton for Pittman.
Kincaid and I mean, if you still have the trade down, definitely Kincaid and Sutton.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's because if Tyreek Hill for some reason goes down, Jalen Waddle is going to be getting all the Tyreek Hill reps. And we also have another question, which I don't think you guys got up to.
Yeah, we actually did. We did
that while you were gone the first time.
Yes. Yeah, so it's what did you guys say? Brock Purdy against Seattle or Josh Allen against Kansas City? 6 point.
Yeah. Both of us said Purdy.
Yeah. I agree, especially the way Dak Prescott was able to play against them.
Right. Yeah, so anyway, my trivia question, of course, has to do with bowl games. So here's the question. We pretty much know that the oldest running bowl game in college football is the Rose Bowl. They first started playing that game back in 1916. Pretty long time there. So the Rose Bowl is the longest running bowl game. Question. What is the second longest running bowl game right now? The second longest.
Well, yeah, I don't really follow college football at all, so I would have to take a wild guess. What did you say the first one was again?
The longest one, of course, the Rose Bowl.
Oh, okay.
The Rose Bowl
Okay,
over in Pasadena, California.
yeah.
But-
I know next to nothing about college, so I'm just gonna I'll have a wild guess. I'll say it later though.
Okay. So y'all just think about that as we get ready to as we said at the beginning of the show, there's a lot of you fantasy players out there that's going into the final week of your regular season. So we are here to help you improve your fantasy squads by giving you our stardoms and synonyms for the week.
I was gonna say before we do that, I thought we'd like to have a brief word from our sponsors, the Four Horsemen of Pickups.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pistol 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby!
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say they're our sponsor, but we do support them 100%. The Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. That's tomorrow night.
Yeah, and we're gonna be the guest pickers.
I believe that is correct. So it's going to be kind of a crossover a little bit. So that should be that should be very interesting right there.
And we haven't had we haven't had because last year we had the old we had the long pick segments. I mean because so we're gonna have one of those this time.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great show. So y'all be sure to tune in. Anyway. Now let's go ahead and help you guys out with some stardoms and stuff.
Oh yeah. Get my notebook ready with my names.
So do you want to go first or I can go first?
It doesn't matter to me. Yeah, but some reason my gut tells me we're gonna have one or two names that are the same. I don't know why, but something tells me we're gonna have one name that's the same.
I probably won't be seeing yours because when I finish with mine, I'm gonna go down and get some food. So I might as well start.
All right, sure.
All right, go.
Alrighty, so my fantasy starting quarterback for week number 14 in the NFL. Now, I'm not going to do Dak going up against Philadelphia because I think that's too obvious of a matchup, and the way he's been playing and him being in the conversation for league MVP. But my fantasy starter of the week is Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens going up against the Rams. I think it's a terrific matchup for the Ravens, specifically for Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to play entertaining. I think he's going to be engaged. This Ravens team is coming off a bye week. This Rams team, I think, has been teetering. I think they allowed Joe Flacco to have. They made Joe Flacco look like a competent quarterback for the vast majority of that game on Sunday between the Browns and the Rams. So I think it's a good matchup for Lamar Jackson. My running backs, if you have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, make sure you start both of them for the Lions going up against the Bears, because the last time the two teams met in Detroit, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs each had over at least 17 fantasy points, and this is the Bears team that's had problems stopping the run. And since Jared Goff is not going to be running the ball that much, it's going to be on the shoulders of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. And by the way, David Montgomery's return to Chicago, his first game in Chicago since going over to the Lions. That's a good matchup there. My starting wide receiver this week is Rashee Rice of the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Buffalo Bills. Now, Rashee Rice has had a solid campaign, and over the last 3 weeks, he's caught 20 of his 24 targets for 194 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. So he's been averaging close to 15 to 18 points per game. So Rashee Rice is gathering momentum at the right time. My starting tight end is this is a guy who got shut out last week, but I do think he's going to bounce back in a big way. it's going to be Rashee Rice. Not Rashee Rice. It's going to be Cade Otton of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against the Atlanta Falcons, because I think this is a really good matchup for Cade Otton, because when you're looking at so what he's been able to what he's been able to do for the better part. Now, he's only projected 6.5 points, but I have a feeling he's going to score a touchdown. Score a touchdown for the Buccaneers, and the Falcons have had given up a lot of points to tight ends, because there have been 3 games this year where the Falcons have given up more than 20 points to opposing tight ends in a given game. So I think that's a good matchup. But I think Cade Otton is going to score a touchdown for the Buccaneers on Sunday against the Falcons. My starting defense / special teams, there are 2 of them, and they are going against each other. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots. I mean, because the over under for this game is 30.5, which is the lowest on the CBS that CBS Sports has had since it started tracking overs and unders in 1993. So if you're thinking Iowa and Indiana, if you're thinking the Iowa and Nebraska game that you saw earlier this year, and how low the over-unders were for those games, that it's going to be like an Iowa Nebraska type of game, because you got Mitchell Trubisky against the Patriots, who are starting 2 quarterbacks that this weekend. So I think this is a great matchup for those defenses to maybe get some takeaways, get some turnovers. Maybe will the defenses outscore the offenses? Perhaps, but I like the matchups there. So, and in terms of my starting kicker this week, I banged him on the drum as the start of the week last week. Same thing this week. It's going to be Matt Gay going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals have ranked 25th in terms of giving up points per game to kickers, and Matt Gay had 14 points last week against Tennessee. I think this is going to be a game where there's going to be some field goals that are going to be involved. I think some long field goals for that matter. And I think Matt Gay is going to take advantage of that. Now, my sit-ems of the week. I did mention that I had one player on the Houston Texans that I was going to label as a sit for the week at a position, and that player is C.J. Stroud. Now, C.J. Stroud's, of course, in the discussion for Offensive Rookie of the Year. But he's got a bad matchup going up against the Jets, because he's projected because he's projected low on our list because they're going up against the Jets. But C.J. Stroud is going up against the Jets defense that is ranked number 5 on our leaderboard in terms of giving up points to opposing defenses, because if you look at how the Jets have done against Tua last 2 weeks ago, how they did against Desmond Ridder last week, they gave up fewer than 10 points in regular scoring to both. And C.J. Stroud, who was projected at 16.9 points on regular fantasy circles, is going to have a rough go of it for them. So C.J. Stroud is my sit of the week at quarterback. My running back sit-em of the week is DeAndre Swift of the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Dallas Cowboys, because the Cowboys are 3rd in the league in giving up fantasy points to opposing running backs, and only once in the last 8 weeks have they given up more than 20 points to combine to opposing running backs, and that was week 8 against the Rams. So if you're looking at points, fantasy points for running backs, you're going to get fewer than 13 points, in my opinion, from DeAndre Swift. My wide receiver sit-em of the week, I think it's going to be Noah Brown of the Houston Texans. Now, going up against the Jets defense that's ranked number 1 in terms of giving up points to wide receivers. They only gave up 1.8 points to wide receivers last week. So that tells you how I feel about that. Now, Nico Collins, I think he's going to have some points going up against Sauce Gardner, but Noah Brown against DJ Reed, I think that's a bad matchup for Noah Brown. My tight end sit-em of the week is Evan Ingram of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he scored his first touchdown in Jacksonville at home as a member of the Jaguars last week, and I think it was good. But I think going from Trevor Lawrence to CJ Beathard is going to be a tough sell here, and going against the Cleveland Browns squad that has been dominant against opposing defenses. So you factor that in, and remember what I mentioned about Tyler Higbee last week. And by the way, he only scored 5.5 fantasy points. So I'm banging the drum here again on Evan Ingram. On here, my sit-em defense of the week is the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Dallas Cowboys, because something's looked off with Philadelphia. They've been getting smoked the last 2 weeks by Buffalo and San Francisco on defense. I don't think that's going to be an exception this time with the Dallas Cowboys. And my kicker sit-em of the week is Tyler Bass of the Buffalo Bills, because I think that's going to be a game where touchdowns are going to be required to win for the Bills, and I think it's going to. That's how, if the Bills win, that's how I feel about that. So Tyler Bass going up against Kansas City, I think it's a tough sell with that. So those are my startums and sit-ems of the week here, and I'll be back in a few moments here after Natalie gives his starters and sit-ems.
Alrighty. All right, on that one, yeah, I guess Flynn and I agreed on one. I mean, that wasn't what I was thinking of, but yeah, I guess we did share the same wavelength on one of the sets, which I'll get into later. I mean, there was one that we were going to be the same on for the start, but I changed my mind at the last second. Good thing I did, because I have a different name. But we'll get into that in a second. But we'll do my stardom of the week. It's actually going to be a bit of a surprise. I'm riding the hot hand here. I'm taking Jordan Love to be the stardom of the week. And he's starting to cook again. I think he's retained QB1 status. Might be back in the top 15. And he's got a good matchup against the Giants on Monday Night Football. And historically, the Giants are awful when they play Monday Night Football. Something always seems to go wrong. I don't know what it is. I think they might have won a game last season on Monday night, but typically they're always bad for some odd reason. Don't know why, but either way, I think Love is a good stardom this week, regardless of who they would have played. So my starting running back this week is actually going to be Isaiah Pacheco of the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, he's been playing exceptionally well, consistently getting double-digit points. With Jerick McKinnon out, that's even more touches for him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets maybe 5 touches a game if he gets lucky. So I would expect Pacheco to get a bulk of the work like he's been continuing to do. You know, my starting wide receiver of the week, I actually did have Rashid Rice in mind, which Flynn said, but I do have a different name that I wrote down. I'm taking Brandon Ayuk of the San Francisco 49ers. This should be a very easy game for them. This is one of my personal lock for the week. The Seahawks defense hasn't been particularly good at all. This should definitely be an easy cakewalk for the Niners. I would expect Ayuk to get a touchdown or two. My starting tight end for the week is going to be Gerald Everett of the San Diego Chargers. Yeah, he's starting to cook a little bit. He's going on back-to-back 40-yard receiving games, and I think that might continue here. And I think he did have a recent touchdown, so I think he's starting to cook a little bit. And my starting defense of the week is actually going to be the Houston Texans. And I think they're playing some pretty good football right now. And the Jets offense is very weak. So yeah, I'm going to ride with the hot hand here. And my starting kicker of the week, and this was kind of a coin flip, but I'm actually going with Younghoe Koo of the Atlanta Falcons. I expect this game to be a very low-scoring game, so I would expect a bunch of field goals from both sides here. And my now onto the sit-ems. My sit-em quarterback of the week is going to be Geno Smith of the Seattle Seahawks. I think he's going to have a very difficult time against that Niner defense. They're one of the best in the league, so I would expect him to get sacked several times. He'll throw a pick or two. This matchup is a complete mess for Seattle. And for my starting sit-em running back, this one was a bit of a difficult choice, but I actually have Joe Mixon of the Cincinnati Bengals as my sit-em of the week. And the Colts have a pretty friendly schedule on the opponent-wise for the last few games. So I would expect the Colts defense to make a big improvement here. My sit-em wide receiver of the week is Garrett Wilson of the New York Jets. I mean, this team is just horrendous right now. There's really nothing going great for them. Texans are fighting for that top spot in the division, and yeah, if they continue to play well, they could possibly get it. And my sit-em tight end this week is Kyle Pitts of the Atlanta Falcons. Kind of like a follow-up to what I said earlier. I expect this to be a low-scoring game. I see more field goals than touchdowns. And this is the one where Flynn and I were in 100% in agreement on. My sitting defense of the week is also going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm expecting a very high-scoring slugfest here. I think both teams are going to score in the 30s, making the fantasy point value very low here. And going to the same team, my sit-em kicker of the week is going to be Jake Elliott of the Eagles. This is probably going to be a touchdown slugfest. So yeah, you're probably not going to get too many field goal opportunities. I mean, I could probably say the same thing about Brandon Aubrey, but he's been the better kicker. So if anybody gets more field goal attempts, it's going to be him. But I would still expect a touchdown fest from both sides, not too many attempts field goal wise. So there's also my starting sit-ems of the week. And back to you, Tim.
Very nice indeed. Very interesting. Well, I did a little research here. I don't know if any of you guys mentioned any of these names as your starters, but I got like three names at three different positions. I got 6 names, 3 different positions here.
Mm-hmm.
For quarterback, I was thinking Gardner Minshew from the Colts or Jake Browning from the Bengals.
Ooh, I think both are sleepers. I wouldn't sleep on either one of them. I mean, I mentioned earlier that Gardner Minshew is. I made a waiver claim in my other league on him. It's because this is a Bengals defense that has a shaky secondary. Although they've been playing, they're playing a tad better as of late, but it's not enough to thread the needle in this spot. Yeah, but Jake Browning. But the thing about Jake Browning is that I think that Troy Aikman nailed this on the broadcast last night on ABC and ESPN. Is that Jake Browning has galvanized the locker room that he's been doing the work. Of course, he knows what it takes to win, because the last time Washington was in the college football playoff before this season, Jake Browning was the quarterback of that team. So you have that. And then you also have the benefit of having Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Joe Mixon and Orlando Brown surrounding him on the offense. So and against the Colts defense that's been giving up a lot of yards lately, I think that those are the matchups you can't sleep on.
And I have 2 running backs I listed. You might want to go ahead and think about Ezekiel Elliott for the Patriots.
First of all, that's a no. Second, next.
I was thinking I'm thinking this may be a no too. DJ Dallas from the Seahawks.
That's definitely a no, especially with that 49ers defense.
No, well, okay, well, we can scratch those off here.
That's probably Sidham's, I would say, for those running backs.
Yeah, I was just looking. I think it was like yahoosports.com.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, maybe Zay Jones from the Jaguars.
That's not a bad idea, especially with Calvin Ridley. Well, sorry, Tristan Kirk out.
Yeah, but going
Christian
up
Kirk
against
out.
going up against that Browns defense, though. Yeah, who's been playing at an elite level all year.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, as of right now, I have Calvin Ridley on my bench.
Okay, and maybe Odell Beckham Jr. for the Ravens.
Maybe a sleeper or something.
I mean, is he going to be the number one wide receiver on Sunday, or is he going to be Zay Flowers? Yeah, I think that's the question. I think.
In my case, I'm hoping that's Zay Flowers. I'm starting him this week.
Yeah, but I do like that Zay Flowers though. I do like him though.
Yeah, but the one thing I have liked about Lamar Jackson this year is the supporting cast around him. And Odell Beckham Jr. is currently slated as the number 2 wide receiver behind Zay Flowers, because Zay Flowers is projected at 13.3 points, while Odell Beckham Jr. is projected at 9.4.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rams have ranked number 10 among the 32 teams in giving up points to receiving yard opponents to wide receiver fantasy points, because last week they only gave up 26 points to all the receivers combined. But I do want, but since you mentioned DJ Dallas for Seattle, he's only projected. Do you know what his projection is on ESPN, Tim?
Like 2? 2 something?
Maybe 2.
0.6.
0.6.
So
that's why I let you guys do the starters themselves, because
maybe that means Kenneth Walker's probably back then.
I just leave that guy. I leave that stuff to you guys, because y'all know more about it.
We'll see what the injury reports are like in practice tomorrow for Seattle.
Right. Well, anyway, before we go to our week 14 picks, there's one thing I failed to mention about our trivia question. The trivia question of what is the second longest running bowl game in college football. Actually, there's a 3-way tie for second. So there's actually 3 bowl games that are the longest. So I guess the question is just see if you can name one of them.
All right.
So, okay. So there's 3 college bowl games that are tied for the second longest running bowl games in college football. So all I want you to do is just name one of them.
Okay.
So, with that being said, let us go against the spread. We have some very, very, very good matchups here. Of course, one, of course, is
They're just waiting for it to get on the screen. Looks like Flynn got kicked off again, but I see him, but he's frozen.
I think he's frozen as well.
Yeah, but he just sent a group text that he got kicked out.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we can kick him off there, and he'll be back in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go.
Almost had him for a second.
Okay, so yeah, there's 3 bowl games that are actually tied for second place as the longest.
Yeah, I had a couple in mind. Possibly the Sugar Bowl, maybe the Fiesta Bowl. Yeah, I'm throwing out some possibilities in my mind here. But yeah, I don't follow college football that much.
Right.
The only time I really follow it is during like the NFL draft.
Right.
There he is.
Yes. So my computer suddenly shut down. So Tim, what I did was I put the pics graphic onto oh shit, he doesn't have Facebook. Oh, okay. Let's figure out how I can. Oh wow, I can't. I can't share a screen here. All right.
Tell you what, if you want to send it to my Discord,
Yeah,
I could,
it's Natalie. So would you mind sending Tim the graphic on Discord, because I just put it in your with that.
Wait, you just sent it to me, you said?
Yeah, I put it to you. I put it to you on Messenger.
Oh, I don't see anything. Let me check. Oh, there it is. Let's see.
Yes. So if you can
Yep.
Toss it to Tim.
Yep, I'm doing that now. I just got to log back into Discord. Let me see.
Okay.
So that was unusual. I got kicked.
I guess while we do that, how about Tim? We go back to your trivia question while we wait. Pivot back there for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so as I said, there are actually 3 bowl games. They're tied for the second longest running bowl games in college football. So
Yeah, I'm gonna guess the Fiesta Bowl was one of them.
Yeah,
Fiesta Bowl's one.
I'm gonna say the Cotton Bowl.
Okay. Well, actually, what I think Natalie said this one earlier. The Sugar Bowl. That was started in 1935.
Yeah, I said Sugar and Fiesta. Those were my 2 possibilities.
Okay, Sugar Bowl is one of them. Fiesta Bowl is not.
Oh, okay.
The Cotton Bowl.
Actually, the Cotton Bowl began in 1937. That would be number 5.
Wait, how about the Orange Bowl?
The Orange Bowl is another one.
Ooh, I'm good at that. I got 2.
Then what about the Peach Bowl?
The Peach Bowl, that started in 1968, so that would be number 9.
Because I was thinking of the New Year's 6 bowl games.
Oh, geez, I'm drawing a blank on this last one.
Y'all probably never guess it. I mean, I was kind of surprised myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, give us the answer.
Okay, the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, and the Sun Bowl.
Oh, Sun Bowl.
Oh, and Notre Dame and Oregon State are playing that bowl game this year.
Yeah, the Sun Bowl over in El Paso, Texas. So there you go right there. And I think I now have, yes, I do have that. So what I will do is I'm going to do a quick download. Wait a minute. Hold up. Save right there. We're going to save that. Wait, I got some crazy things going on here. So let me tell you what I'll do. See if I can. Okay, I'm going to share screen here. I need to. Hold on. Hold on a second. Where is that thing? Where is that thing? I just had it. Sorry, folks. We're just having a little bit of an issue right here, trying to get these things going on here. Wait a minute, where's downloads? Where is it? Okay, so we can go ahead and get that. I think we got that on display right now. Hold on, folks. Okay, so I think we can get that. Oh my gosh, this is just taking so long. Okay, so let's see if I can get this in here right now. Good Lord Almighty. Hold on a second. It's some of this ain't right here. I'll just have to bring this out bring this out of this right onto here. Let me close that out here. Yeah, I know y'all are just dying to wonder who we got picked for the NFL games this week. Yeah, we know you're just dying to know.
I guess while Tim, you're getting that up, I'll just read off some playoff, some clinching scenarios in the actual league here. Your Cowboys, your Cowboys could clinch a playoff berth this week, but the following stuff has to happen here. 1, Dallas wins plus a Minnesota loss or tie, plus a Green Bay loss or tie, plus a Seattle loss, plus a Tampa Bay loss or a tie, plus a Detroit win or a tie, and then plus Rams loss or tie. Whew. That was a lot to say. Dennis.
Okay, I think I got it right now.
Okay.
All right. I think we can go ahead and put those put them up right now. There we go. There we go. There we go. Hold up a second. Let's clear that out. And while we give those here. Last week, the tally to the better of us going 10-3 straight up.
Mm-hmm.
I went 9-4 straight up, and Flynn went 8-5 straight up. But as you can see, we all had a three-way tie, going 7-5-1 against the spread.
Mm-hmm.
So that means right now that after 13 weeks, I have the I have 123 and 70 advantage picking winners straight up. Natalie and Flynn are tied with 121 and 72. And then against the spread, I am in the lead right now with a total of 105, 85, and 3. Natalie is at 102, 88, and 3, and Flynn is at 190 and 3. So, with that being said, let's get into the game, starting with the Thursday night matchup, which will be on Prime Video. We have the Patriots and the Steelers. Steelers come in at 6-point favorites. We all pick the Steelers to win and cover.
Yeah, and that is my garbage game of the week, Tim.
Oh, this is your garbage game of the week.
Mm.
Interesting.
I mean, Mitchell Trubisky against Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, and the way the Patriots have been scoring, or lack thereof, they've scored 6, 7, and 0 points in their games over the last month.
I've somehow got a feeling that Mitchell Trubisky, well, now you mentioned Mitchell Trubisky.
Yes, because Kenny Pickett is probably not playing.
Right. I had this decided before we went on the show, before we went on the air, and now that it's going to be Mitchell Trubisky going to, but Mac Jones is just he's a dumpster fire. Bailey Zappi is a dumpster fire. I would actually go with Trubisky over those two guys combined, and
Yeah.
and as crazy it may sound.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy it may sound. I'm actually locking the Steelers this week. So we all picked them to win and cover. Oh, we got Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Atlanta 2.5-point favorites. We are all in agreement to go with Atlanta to win and cover on that one.
Yeah, and the two of you, I believe, had this as your garbage games of the week.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, I see. Kind of see a low score here. So then we got the Rams and the Ravens. We're all taking the Ravens. I'm taking the Ravens to win, but I see that you guys are taking the Ravens to win, but the Rams to cover.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot closer than most people think.
Yeah, the Rams have been playing some really inspiring football over the last couple of weeks. Because I know it's against Arizona and Cleveland, but I think they look really good.
Okay. All right. Then we go to Detroit, where the Detroit actually going to Chicago is where Detroit at Chicago. Detroit coming in 3-point favorites. We are all in agreement that the Lions will win and cover over those Bears. We have the Colts and the Bengals. We have Natalie. Natalie is a lone wolf here. He's taking the Colts. Wow.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on Browning yet, so we'll see.
I can see your reasoning there. Actually, we have Flynn and I have the Bengals winning and covering. Then we have Jacksonville at Cleveland. We're all taking Cleveland to win this one. Cleveland by 3, win and cover.
I never thought I'd be sitting here in 2023 and picking Joe Flacco to win a football game.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, holy Flacco.
Holy gosh.
And I mean, he actually looked good for a good chunk of that game on Sunday.
All right. Moving on, we have the Panthers at the Saints. Saints are 5.5 at home. We all have the Saints winning the tally, but Flynn and I have Saints winning, but the Panthers covering.
Yeah, the Saints defense has been an abomination all year. And if the Saints don't make the playoffs, Dennis Allen's going to get fired because of it.
So he's definitely on the.
Yeah, but.
Then we have the Texans at the Jets. Houston at 5.5. Of course, I promised that I would never pitch the Jets for the rest of the year, which I think you two guys would probably agree with that.
Yeah. So far you've kept your word.
And I mean, remember but the thing is, week 18 is the Jets and the Patriots in Foxborough. So who are you going to be picking that weekend? One of those teams is going to win, unless they, of course, tie.
That is, unless by some miracle of God, that bad man just happens to show up.
No, he's not. I don't think he's coming back there. 8 losses is not going to do it. You're going to need 10 wins, and the Jets already can only go as many as 9, and they're not going to make it. It'll be even lower than that.
We have the Vikings at the Raiders. Vikings are 3-point favorites. I'm basically the lone wolf here, winning and covering for the Raiders, while you guys are taking the Vikings.
Could that be an upset special?
I think we 3.5 and more.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be 3.5 and more, so not quite an upset special.
Yes, so none of us have an upset special this week.
Not really. Seahawks and 49ers. 49ers 10.5-point favorites. Interesting. We're all taking the Niners.
And this is my lock of the week.
Oh, that's your lock of the week. But I see Flynn with the Seahawks actually covering.
Yeah, but I mean, last week it was the best Seattle has looked all year offensively. That Geno Smith was making a lot of good throws. That he was manipulating that secondary. He was tearing it apart. And no quarterback has played as well as Geno Smith has against the Cowboys. And look, Seattle 6-6. Pete Carroll is a heck of a coach. I don't think they're going to win this game, but I think it's going to be competitive.
It could be. There. It'll be a very nice matchup. We got another interesting one here in Kansas City, where it'll be the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs coming in only 2.5-point favorites. Natalia and I are taking the Chiefs. Meanwhile, Flynn is taking the Bills.
I'm even surprised I'm taking the Bills, but I think there's more talent with Buffalo than there is with Kansas City right now.
Interesting.
So I think the receivers, big advantage Buffalo. Let's see. Defensive line, big advantage Buffalo. Running backs, big advantage Buffalo. Yeah.
Interesting indeed. Two AFC West teams going at it as Denver travels to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. Chargers are 2.5-point favorites. Flynn we are taking the Broncos while Natalie is taking the Chargers.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me. I went with when in doubt, just pick the home team. I did that same thing with the Broncos and the Texans, and I turned out to be correct on that.
Yeah, but when in doubt, pick the team with the better coach and the better defense, and which team has the advantages on that? That's the Broncos.
Yeah, with the Payton and Wilson combination there. Then we have the game of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's your game of the week, but it's my game of the week. Eagles, Cowboys, not only with divisional top seed implications, but maybe for the conference as well. And we are all in agreement that the Cowboys win. Natalie and I have the Cowboys winning, but the Eagles covering. Because I believe this is going to be a classic knockdown, drag out. It's going to go nip and tuck, neck and neck all the way. A late field goal by Brandon Aubrey is going to make the difference. And we are going to take those chickens. We'll split the series. Hey, it'll be good to at least split the series with the Eagles.
Yeah.
We're going to split the series because they took care of us. But in the last matchup, we only lost by 5 points. So
Yeah,
it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, but the reason why I picked the Cowboys to win and cover because the last time the Cowboys had 400 yards of total offense while the Eagles had under 300. So I mean it was like two small plays, two little plays that changed the whole game because of course the fourth down in the fourth quarter and then of course the last play of the game.
Uh-huh. So that is definitely a game of the week right there. That's the Sunday nighter. And then we have a Monday night doubleheader. First, we have the Tennessee Titans at the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins at 13.5. We're all going to the Dolphins. Oh my gosh, Natalia's got the Titans covering.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that's a little bit aggressive.
Have you seen?
I don't want to make that same mistake twice because I initially I remember a couple weeks ago. I initially had the Raiders covering the Dolphins spread, but I changed my mind and that backfired. I don't want to change my mind again, so I want to give myself a little safety net here.
Yeah, but the Titans the Titans secondary is not particularly good, and Derrick Henry, even though he's gonna be playing, looks like he's gonna be playing next week, he's not gonna be 100%. So that was actually one of my to me the easiest bet of the week, and it was also Tim my lock of the week.
Oh, let me lock that for you, sir. And finally, the second game of the Monday night doubleheader, Green Bay Packers at New York Giants. Green Bay going in at 6.5-point favorites. We all agree that the Packers will win. Natalie has the Giants covering.
Yeah, this one feels like a trap for me. As bad as the Giants are when they play Monday night, I think that defense is capable of covering the spread. For some reason, I don't know. I feel like they're going to do it. I think it's going to be closer than most people think. The offense is starting to click a little bit. The defense is somewhat improved. Tommy DeVito's. I think he's cooking a bit.
Yeah, but I just mean there is such a big talent gap between the Packers and the Giants because look, because the one caveat with the with the reason why I went so ballistic about drafting Jordan Love in the first place was because there was so much talent on the roster. Offensive line is great. Brian Gutekunst built a really good defense, and they showed how good that defense was, and then went over Kansas City last week. Because I just think there are so many advantages in this game for the Packers. When you're looking at, the Packers' defensive line against the Giants' offensive line is just not going to be a fair fight, even though it looks like Andrew Thomas and John Michael Schmidt's going to be healthy. It's just like the guards play is going to be rough. Instead the pack because I think AJ Dillon and AJ Dillon's going to are going to have a good game. I think Aaron Jones, assuming he's back, I think he's going to have a monster game. So yeah, I just think this is a talent problem, and I think. I would also, by the way, Matt LaFleur is 16-0 in the month of December.
Wow. Didn't know that. Take note of that, folks. Matt LaFleur is 16-0 in the month of December. And, of course, at the bottom of the screen, you can see 2 teams on the bye.
And the final group of buys.
Yeah, the final week of buys. Arizona Cardinals and the Washington Commanders. So they'll be back in next week.
Yeah, so basically examples of players to bench: Kyler Murray, James Conner, Sam Howell,
Trey McBride,
Scary Terry,
top 10 tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and of course McLaurin among those.
Mm-hmm.
So
Brian
Cardinals,
Robinson,
right? So Cardinals and Commanders, drop or bench those players. They won't do you any good this week. But anyway, I guess that pretty much does it for our show for this week. It's going to be very interesting because I know I'm going to be watching the fantasy scores because this, of course, is our last week.
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy in the regular season. So
and then next week we will have one more time, just for the sake.
Just one more time? Okay. Okay.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
I swear that never gets old.
Yeah.
That never gets old one bit. So after this week, we've got the fantasy playoffs. I know all of you out there have one more week before your fantasy playoffs. So hopefully you'll make the right roster moves. Hopefully we've given you some help on that. Hopefully you people will listen to Hooked on Sports with John Flynn. Of course, tomorrow's Wednesday, so he should have another show dropping tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, I think tomorrow afternoon,
Tomorrow afternoon. So we got links in the description area. Click on one of those. So any parting shots?
Yeah, this is going to be quite the interesting week. So many spots up for grabs in this league.
Yeah, and also make sure everyone who is still fighting for a playoff spot to set your lineups.
Yes, set your lineups. It's very, very, very important if you want to succeed in your league. So with that, we will go ahead and bring this show to a close. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hopefully you'll get your team in the playoffs. If not, oh well, there's always next year, as they always say. So thanks to my boys. I think we're still planning on doing Four Horsemen tomorrow. So check out A Pizzle 90's channel. So be on the lookout for that. But until next time, for John Flynn, for John Natale, I'm Tim McClellan. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the week. See you next week. God bless you. And as always, be a good sport. See you.